that this clears a lot of things up with my.
A victory for a couple of reasons.
I'm hoping that this clears a lot of things up with my name as far as, the world believing that I'm a villain instead of a victim. And it hurts.
The brazenness of the robbery.
What's up with the YouTube fam, man? I'm back again with another video. Look, man, I know a lot of us have already seen the whole situation, you know what I'm saying, with Pastor Whitehead, Bishop Whitehead for those who call him Bishop. But yeah, man, a lot of people seen the situation that took place where his jury was taken, you know what I'm saying, on live, that he got robbed and stuff like that at his church. And from the beginning of this whole situation, man, I consistently said that I didn't believe that he did it. Y'all can go to the video that I did about it. I said I don't feel like he did that, man. I don't feel like that he had nothing to do with his own jury getting taken because, being in the public's eye, man, it's a lot of shit you got to deal with, man. These people be on you, boy. You see how the Facebook and Instagram detectives came out when he got his shit taken. They came up with his whole background and came up with him being a scam and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Now, that side of everything, I don't know nothing about that. I'm just strictly talking about this jury. I don't feel like he had nothing to do with it. But, the media not spreading the fact that they apprehended two men that actually robbed him. They just basically leaving it alone. They ain't showing their side of it. They just showing the negative side of it. But, on my channel, man, I like to give both sides of everything. So it is what it is. We're going to go ahead and get into this whole situation. I got a couple of news clips that I'm not going to post the actual clips. I might post just the audio just to be sure. You know what I'm saying? But, yeah, man, he came out on top with this situation right here, man. People saying that he was a scammer. He had something to do with it. And he ain't had nothing to do with it, man. That's crazy, bro. But yeah, we're finna go ahead and get into this. I'm gonna tell y'all what I feel about this during the video and after the video. So if you don't want to hear me talking at any point in time during this video that's on my channel, just get up off my channel, go find it somewhere. So if you can find it, if you can't find it, it's on you. I really don't give a damn about it, so it is what it is. But to all my loyal supporters and my new supporters, man, y'all already know I'm not talking to y'all when I say that. All I want y'all to do is hit that like button for me and tell me what y'all feel about everything in the comment section, and add on my social medias as well: Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram, second YouTube channel. Everything will be in the comment section if y'all want to add those. If y'all don't want to add none of that, I ain't doing no tricking on none of that. But let's get into this situation, man, and see what the hell going on, man.
Back here in our area, a break in the case today of a bishop robbed of more than $1 million worth of jewelry while he was in the middle of his church service in Brooklyn. The entire event broadcast live online as it happened back in July. Well, tonight, two suspects were in court for charges. Eyewitness News reporter Sonia coming live outside the Brooklyn Federal Courthouse with the story. Sonia.
Bill, Bishop Lamar Whitehead and one of the suspects glared at each other in court at this arraignment. The NYPD says this became a federal case because of the violent nature of the robbery, but officials aren't saying much about how these two suspects were tracked down 2 months after they allegedly robbed Bishop Whitehead of $1 million worth of jewelry at gunpoint. Whitehead is calling this a victory for a couple of reasons.
I bet he is.
I'm hoping that this clears a lot of things up with my name as far as, the world believing that I'm a villain instead of a victim. And it hurts.
The brazenness of the robbery was shocking to those in Bishop Lamar Whitehead's church service and watching the live stream.
A very, very violent robbery crew that we saw with no regard to anybody going in the middle of mass.
Ooh, they finna get them.
Holding a child at gunpoint, that's a pretty rough robbery.
And that's why the NYPD says it became a federal case under the Hobbs Act.
We get a 10-year minimum on a robbery with a firearm.
Two suspects identified as Saquon Pollock and Juwan Anderson, both 23, indicted this week, arrested this morning on federal robbery, conspiracy, and firearm charges. A third suspect is still on the loose. The case drew attention to the fact that Whitehead had $1 million worth of jewelry to steal, something he defended. He says he has no connection to the two suspects. Among the questions he has for them, if they wanted the jewelry, why not target him while he was wearing the jewelry out in public, instead choosing to traumatize his family?
Why would you come into the church and do what you've done? Because we don't have any weapons? Because we're at peace? You know that we are coming to serve our Jesus? Right? And that's just wrong.
Yeah.
The two suspects pleaded not guilty. One of them was released on $50,000 bail. The other is also expected to be released on a similar bail package. And again, one suspect is still on the loose, also still out there, the jewelry. That still has yet to be recovered.
They ain't gonna find it. They didn't try to sell it, man. But yeah, man, this whole situation now, if they come out and say he paid them or whatever the case may be, then it's a whole nother story. But I don't even think that's gonna happen, man. You know what I'm saying? They got caught. It is what it is. I ain't gonna try to be no conspiracy theorist or none of that shit. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, people ain't spreading this out. They want to show all the negative, but they don't want to show that, you know what I'm saying, he actually came out on top. You feel me? But yeah, man, I got another clip of him talking about everything. You know what I'm saying? The shit I've been seeing on Instagram and stuff like that. So let's get into this real quick, man. He happy as hell, boy.
I say we owe you an apology.
A lot of people do owe a nigga apology.
All right, so while everybody is coming in, I just really want to.
I know they feel good.
That's right.
Yeah, for real, he laughing.
I want to just really, first of all, just thank God, man, for just giving me strength to endure, to really endure all of the media and everybody that was saying that I had something to do with the robbery. And I'm talking about you guys, the people, not everybody, but the majority, 90%, believed that I was part of the crime. And it was a hurtful feeling. I'm not going to go into too much detail because, you know, there's a lot of things that are set up for me to do. But I just really want to thank everybody that have supported me when people wasn't supporting me. And everybody that was calling me a scammer because they felt that I was a part of the robbery. All of the vloggers and the bloggers. Thank you so much. Thank you. Somebody said I apologize.
I'm glad I ain't no blogger.
Phoenix Rising. She said I apologize, Bishop, because I definitely believe you were in on it. You know, that thing, man, was crazy, man, because you guys have no idea the trauma that happened to my family, and we're still going through it, and the trauma of my church. For someone to be a part of that heinous act that these three young men has done is they have to have no heart, and they have to so that's the way you guys made me feel, man, because when I see the comments and see people and the bloggers and the YouTubers and everybody that believed that I was a part of this heinous crime, it was very hurtful. You know, I maybe masked it very well, but it was very hurtful. And you know, people didn't even look at me as a pastor. They looked at me as a joke, and in my inboxes, they were saying they hope my children die.
Yeah, people weird.
False crazy. They were saying so many things in my inbox, and I'm really glad. I'm really glad that you know, justice prevailed. The two men, there's three people that committed the crime in my church, and two of them were caught this morning. And they're both from Brooklyn, New York. The first person name was Juwan Anderson.
He's saying their name and everything.
He's 23 years old.
Well, let's public
information.
information.
And the second young man was Saquon Pollock, and he's 23 years old. And they're both from Brooklyn, New York. They are keeping the other man named confidential. I don't even know his name.
He better get to running.
You know, this is a victory, man. And it was all given by Christ Jesus, man. Because let me tell you something. I would not have been able to do it without him. How did they catch him? They caught him in their house. They caught him in their house early in the morning. I received a call, and they said they got him. So it was a blessing. It was a blessing. And if you guys didn't see the press conference, you can go on my page and you can check it out.
I'm gonna post it at the end of this video.
And
the press conference.
You know, it's a blessing, you know, and it just feels like a weight off my shoulders, because people looked at me as a villain instead of the victim, you know, and people stopped calling me, and you know, people stayed away because they felt that, you know, that I had something to do with it because of the media. So I just wanted to jump on really quickly just to give you guys an update. I'm 10 toes down, y'all. I'm pushing forward. And just to let you guys know, and you guys are going to hear a ton of other interviews on TV, I've been all over the news, and as you guys seen the press conference, every news station was there. Some people say you don't be really having a press conference, you just be on live. I just had the my phones turned on me, and all of the press usually be right next to the phone. So this time I said, you know what, let the people see who's there, and so they can understand, you know, that this really matters. This robbery was the first church to ever be robbed at gunpoint in New York state history. It's the first time it happened. And I'm really
come on, Pastor, get it out.
You know, I'm really thankful that God has done. Just, he always show up, man. He's always show up, and you know, and you know, it's I just really thank God for him just being him, you know, and always holding me down when nobody else was there. You know what I mean? So just wanted to tell everybody thank you. And you guys will be seeing a lot more of me. And now I can get back into the seat of the bishop, right? I don't have to be in the seat where I had to defend myself and, you know, and just, you know, now I can get back into the seat of the chief apostle, the Right Reverend Dr. Lamar Miller Whitehead. I don't have to defend myself anymore.
Yeah.
And this is a blessing, you know. This is a blessing, and it's a weight off my church, my family. It's a weight off of our backs. I'm talking about a ton of bricks, because if you guys see how you were crucifying me and saying that I was a part of it, and all of these YouTubers and all of these bloggers,
they done pissed him off.
Shout out to Foxy Brown. Yeah, shout out to Foxy Brown. She is up here right now. But a lot of artists reached out to me. Shout out to Fat Joe. He reached out to me today. You know, and you know, shout out to my civil attorney Brian Ponda, and my my main attorney that handles all of my affairs, Don Florio. Just shout out to everybody, man, that has been supporting me. You know, shout out to my wife, Asia Whitehead, and all my children standing beside me, behind me. Shout out to my church. It's been a really trying time, y'all. And you guys, the ones that was crucifying me, really crucified me. And it was rough, you know, it was really rough. And I just was saying, wow, like, how do you guys think that I can be such a treacherous man, you know? How can you just think that I would, you know? And I'm also going to, and you know, when I showed the video of the young lady that I had to escort out of my church, everybody's saying, well, you showed that video, why didn't you show the video of the robbery? Because I couldn't, but now I can. So in due time, I'm going to show you guys the video of the robbery, and you guys will be able to see from a different angle the traumatizing experience that took place in my church. And you're going to see people laying on top of people. You're going to see a lot, man. You're going to see a lot. And you guys crucified me. When I tell you crucified me, I said, wow, man. So the church is still going to be, I'm still going to be doing virtual church for the next few weeks, because I want a lot of this stuff to calm down, and I want everything to get back in order. We lost a lot of members that's coming into the church. They are only doing online. Our church is safe, so you don't have nothing to worry about. but we lost a lot of members. A lot of people resigned because the media portrayed their pastor to be a criminal and to be a villain, you know, and that was really bad, and that was really bad, and a lot of the YouTubers,
made him mad, boy.
Likes and wanted more followers because of my name and because of how popular my name is, and they go on. I seen young, and you know what, y'all, it's just crazy. But I seen so many young people, so many startuppers, and just coming on. I don't like him. He's arrogant. I know he has something to do with it. I know this. I know, and I'm just sitting there looking. You said what? Who apologized? But I seen just so many people, man, just throwing me under the bus. I heard preachers talking, and it's just wow. It was just wow. You know, it was just wow. So, you know, it was just, you know, an experience. But I thank God for God being God. And this was an experience that I had to go through.
Come on, Pastor.
I'm praying for the young men, and the last, or I don't know if it's more people, but I know they got one more suspect, and I'm hoping he turned himself in, because they have him listed as armed and dangerous. And as a black man, because he is a black man, if you're listed armed and dangerous, you know, they don't talk. So I'm hoping that he turned himself in. I'm praying for him. I seen one of the robbers. I seen his mother, you know, come to court, and I seen, you know, she stepped up to say that she'll put her name to hold on one second. Yeah, she had put her name up to bail her son out, and his family was there. And I wasn't mad at them, because, you know, I remember there was a time where my mom had to step up for me. You know what I mean? So I wasn't mad, and I didn't have no malice to his family, because, you know, right, wrong, or indifferent, you know, you got to keep your family back. So I'm praying for his family, and I'm praying for the two guys that got arrested, Juwan Anderson from Brooklyn, New York, 23 years old, and Saquon Pollock, he's 23 years old.
And I understand what he's saying, you know what I'm saying? I'm in total agreement with it, you know what I'm saying? Ride for your kids, no matter what, right or wrong, you know. But, you know, sometimes, man, you got to go ahead and let them deal with what they got to deal with, man. Because, I mean, shit, they can get back out here doing the same exact thing, you know what I'm saying? And, I mean, I feel like that, you know, these men, well, these boys, because men don't do stuff like this. But these boys these days, man, they got to understand that they putting their family through a lot of shit, man. You know, a lot of trauma, you know, a lot of unnecessary things due to the fact that they don't want to get out here and do something with themselves. They don't want to get out here and get a job. They don't want to get out here and work for it. They'd rather go steal it from somebody else who's been working for it. You feel me? I mean, I know a lot of people don't like the pastor and things like that, but I mean, at the same time, man, he worked for what he worked for. You know what I'm saying? No matter if he used his mouth, whatever the case may be, the power of the tongue, however you want to use it, he still worked for it and he still obtained it. So I feel like that, you know, with that being said, you know, people need to get out here and get on their shit and get their own stuff and stop robbing people and things like that, because that shit lame and they don't get nowhere ever. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, he right though. You know what I'm saying? I rock with it all day, you know. And I'm just saying that right now. But you know, I mean, shit, if my kid was going through certain things, I'd be behind their ass all the way. You know what I'm saying? But at some point in time, you know, you gotta let them learn from their mistakes. Because I mean, shit, coming to rescue them every time that they have an issue, man, you're gonna be in a lot of compromising positions, man, for real. You end up losing a lot of stuff. You lose yourself trying to keep your child on track at some point in time. So yeah, you wanna make sure that you know what I'm saying, thinking logically before you keep on consistently helping somebody, being an enabler to their sick ways, you know what I'm saying? Because that is a sickness. It is a mental sickness in my mind, man, you know what I'm saying? Not saying that they just all the way, you know what I'm saying, gone mentally, but I'm just saying, like, to actually want to get out here and take somebody else's stuff and hurt them for it, and whatever the case may be, man, yeah, you got some real deep issues, man, for real, for real. You know what I'm saying? But, yeah, let's get back into it, though.
You know, and then we're hoping that this third criminal turn himself in.
I know he pressing charges to the max.
You know, I'm asking him to turn himself in and to make it right with the justice system.
They're gonna make an example out of them.
You know, just go through the course that you have to go through. So,
come on, Pastor.
Now, everybody that was been posting and saying all this stuff about me, come on now and get right with God and apologize.
They're gonna find something else to say.
And that's just what somebody said, you too calm. I'm happy, man. I'm excited.
That's a sense of
this
relief.
has been a long day. And y'all got to stop trying to pick me apart, man. Stop trying to pick things apart. Talking about you too calm. What, I supposed to be yelling and screaming? So it was a long day. You know, my family has been going through some things, and you know what I mean? This has been a very, very long day. And, you know, a lot of people, you know, I know I have to be strong, but, you know, this has been a long day, and this has been a long 2 months, July 24th to now it's September the 28th. This has been a long 2 months.
Damn, this month went by fast as hell. It's the 28th
That's
already.
just what it is. That's just what it is. A long 2 months.
This month flew by.
I thank God for this block button too, y'all. So look at the press conference, and a lot of questions that the media asked me, I answered. I didn't leave no question unanswered. I'll be posting once I get their pictures. I'm going to be posting their pictures up to show y'all the two men that they have already arrested that came into my church with guns. And you can look their name up. I'm sure that they have mugshots up. Juwan, Juwan Anderson. And this guy had the nerve to try to intimidate me in court. I said, this guy just have no idea. I ain't scared. This Juwan Anderson just staring at me, trying to intimidate me. Like, I was like, man, I wish I would blink. You know?
Ooh, he finna press charges to the max.
There is no, you don't get no respect. You'll see when you get to prison, you don't get no respect for robbing a church. You don't get no respect for none of that nonsense, but you ran into a church. Like, that's just against all odds, y'all. That's against all odds, man. This guy Juwan, Juwan Anderson.
He want us to look him up. I'm gonna look their ass up too.
Then you have Saquon Pollock, 23 years old. These young guys, I got them by over 20 years. I have them. Yeah, over 20 years I'm older than them. You know, and it's just, you know, it's just terrible. It's terrible, man. And you know, crime shouldn't be. We shouldn't even be doing no crimes, but black on black crime, I think we go through enough, man. Especially as young black men. You know what I mean? Young black men. You know, it's just unfortunate, man. Unfortunate. And you know, I tell you, man, if they would have came into the church another way and they needed help, everybody knows me. Everybody knows me. I would have helped them with whatever I can. Everybody know me. Everybody know me. All they had to do was come in a different way, right? They didn't have to take anything from me and my family and traumatize my church. I would have tried to help them get what they needed to be, where they need to be. And that's just what it is. You know what I mean? So I just really want to say thank you to everybody. Thank you for being there for me. And thank you for, apologizing. And the ones that feel, that you need to, I just really want y'all just to overlook everything that you guys said and just find out how the devil tricked you with this nonsense, and just understand that I would never do that to God's church. I would never do that to God's people.
To your family.
I would never do that to my family, right? I would never, ever do that. And I thank God for vindicating me and showing you guys who were the real perpetrators. And as I stood in front of the press conference, I said, I hope they don't use the stop snitching rule. Tell all the information that you can tell. If anybody put you up to it, if there was any other people that was with it, call their name, call their names, right? Let it all hang out. That was a heinous crime. You came into the church, you violated. I want y'all to, I told him, man, I told him, I said, you need to cooperate. Let everything hang out. So I'll give you guys the opportunity. I know you guys, if anybody that wants me to see your apology, right, I will call your name out and I will say thank you for the apology. Because I see a lot of you guys, I apologize, Bishop, I didn't believe it happened. Thank you so much, Mary Thomas 9515. Thank you. It takes a big person to apologize. Because y'all was letting me have it. Y'all was letting me have it.
Yeah, they was. Still is to this day. They ain't gonna stop, man.
Thank you so much. They said they like the press conference. For anybody else, because I'm not going to stay on too longer. I'm not going to stay on too much longer. But, this person says arrogant, man. Since you feel like I'm arrogant, let me just take care of that. Arrogant. I don't know where you get arrogant, but let me just, everybody that's putting that in, let me just take care of that real fast. But thank you so much, Spread Love, for apologizing. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I blocked the wrong person. Thank you so much, Donna Ross Harris. Thank you so much. Okay, let me block you. I don't want apologies. I just gave the floor, so see you later, Miss Smith. People always got to say something. We 10 toes down, y'all. All right, y'all taking it out of context. I'm not saying that I need an apology. Some people are just going the opposite way. But some people were just apologizing. I just wanted to just call you guys out and thank you guys for, stepping up and doing and just saying that you apologize. Thank you so much, Church Mass World Star. Thank you so much. And thank you for the ones that have been praying for me. So keep praying for me and my family. This is a victory. This is a victory. This is a victory for us, and there's more to come. Thank you so much. And y'all tag me, man. Tag me. Y'all can tag me 10 toes down, y'all. Tag me 10 toes down. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And I thank you for all who believed in me. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you from myself and my family and my church, Leaders of Tomorrow International Ministries. We are the greatest church on this side of heaven. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, they're talking about it right now, y'all.
I know he happy as hell. He rubbing it in their face.
They're talking about on Channel 11, y'all.
I got the press conference too. I ain't got to watch none of this shit till now, so I'm gonna go ahead and watch it with y'all. Majority of it anyway.
Love you guys. Thank y'all. Turn Channel 11.
Real press conference, you know what I'm saying? People think Cuz be lying about everything. It's understandable though, because he got cases in the past and shit like that. So I can understand people not believing him. But damn, sometimes, man, you gotta just chill. And sometimes some people just need a punching bag. You feel me? They be depressed and down and out of shit, so they need somebody to, you know what I'm saying, continuously put down. I don't know if you're a fraud or not. I ain't trying to take up for him, but you know, keeping it 100.
Well, I just want to give my address and
I can't hear it.
Questions that I can't answer. First, I want to thank the NYPD and the ATF for doing an effective job at this time. 2 out of the 3 suspects were captured today. I received a phone call this morning around 6:30 in the morning, waking me up and stating that they have caught 2 of the 3 suspects. First, I really want to thank God. This has been a trying time for me and my family. It has been really nerve-wracking. The media passed to my address throughout online, and what you guys didn't know that I couldn't really talk about, there was an home invasion at my home, and they tried to steal my cars, come out of my driveway, and blasted around. This is a win today because the narrative that was posted and presented that I had something to do with this robbery, and it has destroyed my life. This was turned around from me being a victim to a villain, and today, God gave me and my family the victory, and they were able to catch these 2 young men, and there's another one at large, and I'm hoping that they cooperate with the federal prosecutors. This is a federal case, and I'm hoping that they cooperate with the federal prosecutors. I'm hoping that they get that we get justice. One of the young men was released on bail, and hey, I respect whatever the prosecutor and the judge and whoever was a part of that deal, and I trust in this justice system. But, however, my family and my church have been very traumatized, and they have changed me to look like a person on the street instead of a man of the cloth and clergy. Not only am I a bishop, but I also have my PhD in theology and business. So I am also a doctor. I'm a smart, well-rounded young black man, and to be looked at as a villain instead of a victim really traumatized my family and really traumatized my church. I've lost so many members because of the fear of coming back to church, because of people just walking in the church after July 24th, doing what they want to do. I want to thank my wife, Ada Whitehead, for standing next to me and standing beside me during this time, and we're standing next to each other. She wanted to be here today, but she's just still afraid. She's still afraid. My children still have trouble sleeping, and a lot of my members still call me to this day crying because of the trauma. I'm hoping that this clears a lot of things up with my name, as far as, the world believing that I'm a villain instead of a victim, and it hurts. I thank God for my attorney who walked with me every step of the way, Don Florio, and my civil attorney who could not be here today because of what happened. It was too fast. His name is Brian Ponder. And I'm just really thankful for the greatest church on earth, Leaders of Tomorrow International Ministries, and I want to thank each and every one of you for being out here. So I'll take questions now.
Bishop, how does this play your name? Just
say that one more time.
Your thoughts on staring you down as you walk to that door?
Well, I'm glad you were there, and I'm glad you were able to see the villain that he is, right?
So for those who didn't hear it, he just wanted to know, how do you feel about the dude staring him down at court? And you know he got every right to capitalize on it and say what he's saying. You know what I'm saying? Portray him to be the victim and stuff like that. Well, shit, he really is the villain. I'm tripping talking about the victim. Portraying him to be the villain that he is and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? He gonna run it up. I mean, why wouldn't he? Shit, the way that the word crucified him, hell, I'd be out there with. I ain't gonna say I would, but I can understand him doing it. You know what I'm saying? Telling the people everything and shit like that. I can't see myself doing all this shit, you know what I'm saying, talking to the law and all that now. I mean, I done did what I had to do and stuff like that, but you know, he's a pastor, you know, he's a public figure for the people and shit like that, so he's supposed to, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, shit, Cosmos was in there acting a goddamn fool, boy. He was mad as hell probably because he got caught, you know what I'm saying? And then he already know the pastor shit, you know, finna run it up on him. Gonna say everything he gotta say to make sure that they understand that he ain't the goddamn criminal they are, you know? Well, let's get back into it though.
And I'm glad you were there to see the hate and to see the viciousness that he had in his eyes for me. And how he stared me down to try to intimidate me. But I'm not going to be intimidated. And I'm glad you were there to see that I'm a victim. And once again, he tried to intimidate me. A preacher, a young man that was illegally convicted, a young man whose father was beat and strangled to death by 16 police officers because of the color of his skin, Arthur Miller, in 1978. A young man that had to grow up without a father. And I'm glad you were there. I'm glad Pix 11 was there to witness, because you guys might not have believed me. You haven't believed me with anything else. So I thank you, sir, for being there and seeing the intimidation. And I forgive him. I forgive him. The Bible says in Matthew 6:14-15, it says, if God forgives us our trespasses, then we have to forgive others their trespasses. And I forgive them. And I thank God for allowing me and my family to be here and not be dead on July 24th.
How does this clear your name? You said this clears your name. How does it clear your name?
Because the tabloids and everybody has been talking about the narrative of the bling bling bishop and the bling bling pastor, and he had to have something to do with it. Why is it taking so long for him to be
watching YouTube,
for the criminals to be caught? Well, the reason why it was taking long, because it changed from a state to a federal case, and they were doing what they had to do. I'm not a police officer, nor am I a federal agent, but I cooperated with the agent every time they called me, and they will tell you that every time they called me, any pictures and anything that they needed, they were able to get it from me without any delay at all. So the media and social medias and the bloggers and the bloggers have changed me to a villain instead of a victim. So that's what I'm talking about. My career in real estate has tumbled because of the tabloids speaking to the sense of me being the villain and me having something to do with it. And nobody wanted to do anything with me. None of the politicians called me to check on me anymore. Nobody called me anymore. So it was just me and my family and my church family. So that's what cleared.
The chief of detectives said today, basically, that the reason this happened, or what their motive, is that these men saw you flashy. They knew where your church was. So, I mean, you spoke to that, but what do you make of it?
Well, that was an assumption. I watched it, and it was an assumption, and it's still further investigation. So, you know, he's assuming there's a lot of different things that's up in the air. There's a lot of things that's in the air. It's a heavy investigation where there's tons of different units that's a part of this investigation. So, you know, I think that I should be able to wear what I want to wear. I think I should be able to dress the way I want to dress. You know, when you look at the Pope, his robes are nearly $50,000. You know, but there's no talk about that at all. You know, for me as
the Pope cutting up like that, man. Let me know, man. If the Pope out there cutting up like that, boy, ain't no way in the hell people need to be saying nothing. God damn, I didn't know his robes was 50 bands. Shh, boy. It's hard as hell to come across 50,000. Then you just got it on the robe. That boy cutting up. Let's get into it though.
African American young man, you know, I'm ridiculed. I'm called different names. So I believe that was just an assumption and their opinion at now.
Did you know the suspects?
I can't hear you.
Did he know him?
hell. It's been hell. My family just came back home. We've been paying for them I've been paying for them to stay in a hotel. My daughter, my kids still can't sleep at all. They can't sleep. The trauma, I've never understood the trauma of this type of robbery. You know, you watch these things on TV, but until you actually are a part of it, you never understand. This is trauma. I'm talking about my members call me crying. If not every day, every other day. My daughter crying and scared. Every slam of a car door. She turns around, she's startled. So this has been hell. And then to not be believed. To not be believed and to be ridiculed on the way I dress. And, you know, it's just, you know, I thought I was a victim. But I just turned into a villain, and it's hell, to answer your question.
Do you in any way before the robbery know these two men? Or
did you ever see them before?
I've never seen them before a day in my life, and this was groundbreaking for me, because when you haven't seen them, you know, you don't know what they look like, you know, and I couldn't wait. You know, this morning I was up for 5 a.m. prayer, because we're on 5 a.m. prayer for the last year, 7 days a week. And I was up for 5 a.m. prayer. And when I dozed back off, then I got this phone call, and I couldn't go back to sleep. I was so anxious to see what these gentlemen look like, because I've never seen them before. I didn't know their names. So when I seen them today, I never saw them before. You know, and then I started to say, wow, you know, why would these young men do this to me? Why would these young men do this to me? You know, we always talk about racism. We always talk about other ethnicities coming against the black community. But these are my own brothers. So what are our excuse now? What is our excuse now?
What are your thoughts on the late disclosure that there in plea discussions?
Well, like I said, I'm leaving that up to the prosecutor, and I know that the judge said that they were giving them a window for plea discussions. So I don't know if they're already having plea discussions. But what I do, that's in every case, as my attorney just said. That's in every case. So I don't think that I don't know if they're in plea discussions, but I know that the next date for court, which I will be here, is October 28th. And I will be here, and I'm going to monitor this and whatever they need from me. You know, and I'm hoping and praying that these young men speak, because there's I don't know, but I feel that there's more to the story. I feel that there's more people to this, and I feel that, you know, because for you to have the courage to walk inside of a house of worship, it has to be something else to this. So I'm hoping that they will cooperate with the police department, the ATF, and the NYPD, and anything that's hidden, I'm hoping that it's uncovered. Any names that have been a part of this crime, I'm hoping that the no snitching rule is out the window, and I'm hoping, because at the end of the day, they pull a gun not only on me to the back of my head, but my wife and my 8-month-old daughter. And I do have video that I will be showing later on this week or maybe next week. But I did not put it up there, but you guys will be able to see the inside of everything that happened, and you know, because I think the people in the world needs to see the traumatization of my church and how all of them had to. It's like a wave. They just all flew on the floor, and they were all on top of each other, And when you guys see that, then I think that you guys will.
Yeah, damn, what happened?
Have trauma that my family is going through.
Do you know if they have any connection to the church for their names? Do you know if they were, you know who they were, but do you know?
I don't know their names. Their names are not unfamiliar to me. Their names are unfamiliar to me, and their faces are unfamiliar to me. I was hoping to come out here and say, I've seen that young man before, because I do a lot of community work. I help a lot of kids. I help a lot of young men out of prison. I help them reform their life. So I'm around a lot of young people. I'm around a lot of gang members. I'm around a lot of people. A lot of people that have felonies and different things of that nature. And I was hoping to see some type of connection of how did they just pick me out? Because, you know, think about it. Just think about it. I'm outside. I'm not inside. I'm outside doing a lot of community work, right? And the same jury that they stole from me is the same jury I have on all the time. Why would you go into the church, right? And I think every pastor, I think every imam, I think every...
They went into the church because they know it was an easy lick. You feel me? Majority of the time, man, you know, especially being in cities and states like New York and stuff like that, man, you know, where you can't have a firearm. They already know, man, it's easy to come in there and get something. They know he's a convicted felon from what people have been saying. I'm not for sure about that, you know what I'm saying? Because I didn't do my research all into people's background. I don't be doing all that. That ain't for me. But you know what I'm saying? I mean, if it's a case of something that I need to talk about, then yeah. But, you know, as far as like trying to... I didn't know what was going on with him, so I didn't look up his shit. I'm going to leave it at that. But, yeah, man, you know, they said he's a convicted felon. He went to jail for stuff like that with the group, so they already know he's not having a gun. People do their research on you, man. They watch you. They stalk you, you know what I'm saying, especially if you're on social media and stuff like that. That's why you got to filter out who's following you and stuff like that. And even though you might think you filtered out who's following you and stuff like that, you still never know. But, yeah, man, you know, being in the hood, being around people and stuff like that, not even just being in the hood. You can be anywhere and get robbed, you know what I'm saying? But just being out, being you, doing what you do normally, you might think there's nothing, but somebody else sees that and they idolize that. They see it in a whole other light than you. You know what I'm saying? You seeing things through your eyes. They seeing things through their eyes, which is, you know, totally different from what you got going on. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, as far as like him being in the community, trying to help and stuff like that, man, you can do everything possible for anybody. You know what I'm saying? There's still gonna be somebody out there that don't like you. You know what I'm saying? Even though he's saying all this shit right here that he's saying, people still gonna think that he has something to do with it. They gonna say he paid them or something like that. You never know. But I mean, you know, just being out doing everything that you can for people these days, man, really don't even pay off, bro. Because if you show people that you're doing it, they're gonna say you're doing it for the camera. If you don't do it, they're gonna say that you ain't. You know, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. You feel me? So I feel like these days, man, it's better just to do what you can do and just keep it pushing, bro. Don't go overboard trying to make people feel good and shit like they do. It's best for you, you know? But, yeah, man, I done seen enough of this right here. I'm going to go ahead and hop up off of here, and I'm going to holler at y'all later on another video. You know what I'm saying? Shit, I tried to watch the majority of it out with y'all, but I got something to do. So, yeah, I'm still for to continue watching this, but, you know, it is what it is. I'm going to let y'all finish watching it without me. But, yeah, man, my closing statements for the situation, man, I just want to say that, you know, he's been watching YouTube, because a lot of these YouTubers, man, and stuff like that I've been seeing posting stuff, they tired of be saying the bling pastor, you know, little shit like this. So that's what he's referring to when he say stuff like that. And I don't watch all the videos about it because, like I said before, I don't like watching shit that's trying to like deter me from what I really just felt in my heart. You know what I'm saying? I had discernment in the situation. I just feel like that he wouldn't put his children involved with certain things like that. You know what I'm saying? It's just me personally. I ain't trying to take his side when it comes to anything else. But as far as this right here, I don't feel like that he would put his family in that type of situation. So it is what it is. Y'all can stick to all the fraud. Y'all can say whatever y'all want to say about the man. I'm not trying to take his side on none of that other shit. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't know nothing about it. But as far as this, I'm rocking with him on this. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. Y'all can comment what y'all want to. Really don't give a damn no way what nobody got to say about me. Shit, I got my own mind, my own thinking and all that shit. So it is what it is. But yeah, man, if y'all made it this far to the video, man, I really do appreciate y'all real talk. And I'll holler at y'all later on another video, though. All right.
Do you know if they have any connections to the church? Have you heard their names? Do you know if you didn't know who they were, but do you know?
I don't know their names. Their names are not unfamiliar to me. Their names are unfamiliar to me, and their faces are unfamiliar to me. I was hoping to come out here and say I've seen that young man before, because I do a lot of community work. I help a lot of kids. I help a lot of young men out of prison. I help them reform their life. So I'm around a lot of young people. I'm around a lot of gang members. I'm around a lot of people, a lot of people that have felonies and different things of that nature. And I was hoping to see some type of connection of how did they just pick me out? Because, you know, think about it. Just think about it. I'm outside. I'm not inside. I'm outside doing a lot of community work, right? And the same jury that they stole from me is the same jury I have on all the time. Why would you go into the church, right? And I think every pastor, I think every imam, I think every rabbi and whatever religious leader you are, I think we should step up and stand together to protect the houses of worship. Because this could have happened anywhere, right? It's not like I didn't have my jury on when I'm outside. Why would you come into the church? Why would you come into the church and do what you've done? Because you know we don't have any weapons? Because you know we're at peace? you know that we are coming to serve our Jesus, right? And that's just wrong.
Bishop, did you said the politicians stopped calling you. Does that include the mayor?
I haven't heard from the mayor in a while. And like I said, I believe that, you know, a lot of people were scared off. I think a lot of people were scared off because of the picture that I was painted to be involved with this heinous crime.
Are you scared you'll be targeted again?
Am I scared? No, I'm not scared. Am I going to be targeted again? I don't know, but I'm not scared.
Have you increased security at your church?
Much expensive.
Have you increased security at your church?
Yes.
How was that lady able to get in and, you know?
Well, she was she came up and she said what she said in front of me. I allowed her to say, and she was a woman. You know what I mean? She was a woman. She screamed, she hollered, she cursed, she did everything. And as I turned my back to go back up into the pulpit, that's when, if you see the video, she walked off. I thought she was leaving. Then she turned around and then started yelling at my wife and beeline to my wife, and she had a bag underneath her arm. So I didn't know what was going on. And no, I did not choke her. No, I did not choke her. I grabbed her from the back of her shirt, and I had the mic in my hand, and I grabbed her shoulder, and I pushed her out. I did not choke the young lady at all. Okay, I don't have no fingernails, so I didn't scratch her. She scratched herself. And if you look at all of the video that I've been, that the media has been posting, when she went downstairs, she started to say, "I'm going viral, I'm going viral, I'm going viral." It was all a setup for bloggers and to desensitize my holiness and desensitize me as a man. My mom raised me by herself. I am pro-woman. My grandmother's my best friend. She's 107 years old. She'll be 108 in May, right? So I don't harm women. I'm not abusive, and all I want to do is protect my wife and my daughter. You guys have to understand, the last time somebody went towards my wife and my daughter, they had a gun in their hand and a gun in my 8-month-old baby's face. What am I supposed to do when this young lady has something under her arm?
Are you going to wear less bling?
Say it again.
What are you doing differently now?
As far as what?
How are you, your services, your security, anything? What has changed?
Well, what has changed, I've chose for the next few weeks to do everything online. Just to give the confidence back to my church and to calm things down, do everything virtual for now until further notice. Security is up, and I'm just repositioning leaders. A lot of my leaders resigned because of fear, because of their family being afraid that this is supposed to be a house of worship, not a club, or a house of worship and not somewhere where you have to, as soon as the door opens, everybody's turning around. It's nuts. As soon as you hear the door or somebody speaks, my whole church turn around. So I wanted to settle down and just go online for a few weeks until further notice.
Are you going to wear less bling so you're less of a target?
Well, I will wear what I've been blessed with by God when I feel like it. You know, that's it. You know, I don't, everyone says that I was targeted. It's amazing to me about how we all forget about the shooting in the church in the Carolinas and the mass shootings in the churches down south, right? The pastor didn't have any jury on, right? But at the end of the day, just to make a story to make me look like I deserve it. See, when you guys ask me that and say, well, are you going to wear less jury so you won't be targeted? It makes me feel like you feel that I deserve it because... I'm not saying it, but this is just what the media is building around, because you guys go into my... when I was illegally incarcerated and sent away to prison, you guys put the bling bling bishop and identity theft, but nobody wants to give the story on that I have search warrants that was illegal. Search warrants where the judge's signatures was forged. Nobody wants to talk about how the district attorney that was over my case in Suffolk County, his name was Thomas Spota, that he had a federal indictment, he had to resign. Nobody wants to talk about that. Nobody wants to talk about that, but everybody wants to talk about my felony conviction, but nobody wants to talk about how I have 5 affidavits from 5 different lawyers that states that the DA hid all of the evidence from them. Nobody wants to talk about that. That's not a story. But the story is that he went to prison and he served 5-6 years in prison and he's not to be trusted, but nobody wants to talk about Thomas Spota. who has been federally indicted and had to be resigned and was arrested in Suffolk County. He was the district attorney over my case. Let's talk about that. Why don't we talk about that, right? But the New York Times, identity theft, Bishop, this, Daily News, same thing, right? But nobody wants to talk about that, the good things. Let's talk about why none of you guys were there when I gave $25,000 back to school for at Cookie's department store. Where were you guys at then? We sent out the press release. Nobody was there, right? But as soon as something that you guys feel that's going to give you guys some type of traction, and you guys don't know how it hurts my family, right? Let's do a story on that.
Do you think you were targeted?
As far as, what do you mean targeted as far as what?
Because they knew that you wear expensive items?
I don't know. I don't know if I was targeted. I don't know. Obviously, they had to do their homework on me. If they came in like that to rob a church, right? To rob a church, they had to do something, and they had to be brave.
What kind of watch are you wearing now?
It doesn't matter. There you go again. You see here talking about what type of watch am I wearing, but you haven't yet asked me how's my wife doing. This is my point. This is my point. You never asked me how's my daughter doing. You want to sit here and talk about a watch, right? You didn't ask me how's my mom doing, that she cries every time I speak to her. You didn't ask me how my family doing. You talking about a watch. Who cares about a watch? I care about my family, right? And you guys are not going to keep with the narrative of material things, okay? I am a person. I am a human being, okay? All right? Let's talk about that.
What happened with the home invasion? You mentioned it was a home invasion.
Well, it's under investigation. It was a tip home invasion.
When did this happen?
This happened about 3 weeks ago.
In New Jersey?
Yes.
What's a tip?
Well, they tried to get in the house, and they didn't know that I had security there, and once they found out, they ran.
Anything that's connected to this robbery?
I don't know.
You say about 3 weeks ago?
Yes, about 3 weeks.
Being investigated by
The police. Are there any other questions?
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. So, we can do this. Yeah, we can do this. You get this turn to me. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate you guys, and thank you for all the prayers, all the love, and all the support. God bless you guys, and I'll see y'all later.